What if I told you that just 3 simple words could completely change the way he sees you and make you the only person on his mind day and night? Most women chase, overthink, and send long emotional texts. But here's the shocking truth. Men are not wired to respond to effort. They're wired to respond to triggers. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how 3 powerful words can activate a part of his mind that craves you, misses you, and needs you more than anyone else. Imagine this. He's out with friends, scrolling through his phone, and suddenly your name pops up in his head without you even texting him. He starts wondering where you are, who you're with, and why he can't stop thinking about you. This isn't magic, it's psychology. And when you understand how his emotional triggers work, you can create an invisible connection, one so powerful that he'll constantly seek your attention without you lifting a finger. But here's the catch. Most women unknowingly do the exact opposite. They push him away by saying things that kill attraction instead of building desire. In this video, you'll learn the secret switch inside his mind, and when you say these 3 words, you'll see the difference instantly. Stay with me, because I'll reveal the exact words that make him think about you non-stop. Have you ever noticed how in the beginning everything feels perfect? He's calling, texting, planning dates, and making you feel like you're the only woman in the world. And then, out of nowhere, something changes. His texts slow down. He seems distracted. He stops making plans. And you start asking yourself, did I do something wrong? Did I push him away? Here's the truth. It's not you. Most men pull away, not because they've lost interest, but because their emotional patterns are completely different from ours. Men are wired to seek freedom first, then connection. When things start getting serious, a part of his subconscious kicks in, and suddenly, he feels like he's losing control. It's not about you. It's about him protecting his sense of independence. But here's where most women accidentally make the situation worse. When they sense distance, they chase. They send longer texts, ask more questions, and try to fix things, hoping to pull him closer. But what happens instead? He feels pressured, and he retreats even further. It becomes a cycle. The more you chase, the faster he runs. So how do you reverse it? You don't beg for his attention. You don't demand answers. Instead, you create space, the exact thing he's subconsciously craving. But this isn't about ignoring him or playing cold. It's about shifting his emotional focus so he starts chasing you again. And here's where psychology comes in. When you stop over-investing and instead use subtle, emotionally charged triggers, something fascinating happens. His brain releases dopamine, the reward chemical, every time he thinks about you. You become the mystery he wants to solve, the person he can't get out of his head. One of the most powerful ways to flip this switch is by using specific words, words that make him feel safe, desired, and understood all at once. These aren't manipulative tricks. They're natural, emotional triggers that make him associate you with excitement and comfort. When you say them the right way, his guard drops. He stops overthinking, stops pulling away, and instead, he leans in. And here's the best part. You don't need to change who you are or pretend to be someone else. You just need to communicate differently, in a way that speaks directly to his emotional wiring. In a few minutes, I'm going to share the 3 magic words that make this possible. Words that bypass his logical mind and connect straight to his emotions. Words that make him think about you when he's at work, with friends, even lying in bed at night. Stay with me, because once you understand this, you'll never have to chase a man again. Here's something most people don't realize about attraction. It doesn't start in the heart, it starts in the brain. Every single feeling, desire, longing, obsession, comes from specific emotional triggers buried deep inside the mind. And if you understand how to activate them, you can make someone feel an intense pull toward you without begging, chasing, or forcing anything. You see, men and women process emotions differently. While we often connect through words and sharing, men are wired to respond to moments and feelings, not long conversations or constant explanations. A man doesn't fall for you because you send the perfect paragraph-long text. He falls because something you say or do sparks an emotional spike inside him. That spike could be excitement, curiosity, pride, or even the fear of losing you. And once it's activated, his brain can't stop replaying that feeling over and over. Think of it like this. The human brain craves dopamine. the chemical responsible for desire and motivation. Every time he experiences a positive emotional trigger around you, his brain rewards him with a hit of dopamine. It's addictive. He starts associating you with that rush, and suddenly he's thinking about you when he wakes up, when he's at work, even when he's with friends. But here's the mistake most women make. They trigger the wrong emotions. They overanalyze, overgive, and overexplain, which actually makes a man feel pressure instead of passion. The more predictable you are, the less exciting the connection becomes. Desire doesn't grow in comfort. It grows in mystery and emotional contrast. This is where the three magic words come in. When you use them, you're not just communicating, you're tapping directly into his subconscious. These words are designed to trigger a subtle emotional shift, creating a sense of closeness, safety, and curiosity all at once. His logical brain won't even realize what's happening, but emotionally he'll start craving more of you, without knowing why. This isn't manipulation. It's understanding human psychology, the science of emotional influence. When you know what lights up his brain, you don't have to fight for his attention. You become the person his mind naturally gravitates toward. And in just a moment, I'm going to reveal the exact three words that create this effect. Once you understand how they work, you'll be able to use them naturally, and he'll start thinking about you constantly, even when he doesn't want to. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Alright, this is the moment you've been waiting for. The three magic words that can change everything between you and him. But before I tell you what they are, I want you to understand something important. These words only work when you say them at the right time, and with the right energy behind them. If you throw them out casually, they lose their power. But if you deliver them when his emotions are already heightened, the effect is unforgettable. So what are the words? Listen closely. I get you. That's it. Three simple words, but their impact on the male mind is massive. Here's why they work. Men have a deep, unspoken desire to feel understood without judgment. Most of the time, when he shares something, women naturally respond by fixing, advising, or questioning. But when you say, I get you, you bypass his defenses completely. His brain interprets it as acceptance. It tells him, she understands me, she sees me, she connects with me, and that emotional recognition is powerful enough to make him think about you long after the conversation ends. But timing is everything. You don't want to say it when things are neutral, you want to use it right after he shares something meaningful, whether it's about his goals, his stress, or even his dreams. When you mirror his feelings and then add those three words, his emotional brain lights up. It creates a neurological imprint, a moment he remembers and relives over and over again. And here's the beauty of it. Once he associates you with that deep emotional safety, he naturally starts seeking you out. He texts you first. He checks in more. He thinks about you during random moments of his day. Not because you forced him to, but because you've tapped into something most people never give him: true emotional connection. If you want to take it a step further, you compare these three words with subtle emotional contrasts. Tease him lightly, make him laugh, and then drop the I get you when the moment feels personal. That contrast between playfulness and intimacy makes the bond even stronger. And here's the kicker, this works even if he's been distant. Once he feels seen and understood, his guard melts. He stops pulling away and starts leaning in. Not because you're chasing him, but because he can't stop thinking about you. In just a moment, I'm going to show you how to keep him hooked without chasing, using one subtle shift in the way you communicate that will change everything. Here's the thing. Most people get wrong about attraction. Making him think about you is step one. Keeping him hooked forever is where the real magic happens. And the secret isn't in chasing, begging, or proving your worth. It's in creating a magnetic energy that makes him want more of you without you ever having to ask. After you've used the three magic words, something changes inside his mind. He begins to associate you with a feeling, safety, understanding, and connection. But here's where a lot of women make a mistake. They assume that once he's hooked, the job is done. So they start giving more, over-explaining, over-texting, and over-investing. And guess what happens? The mystery fades. The dynamic shifts. And suddenly the same man who couldn't stop thinking about you starts to pull away again. Why? Because desire isn't built through constant availability. Desire is built through emotional balance, knowing when to connect and when to create space. You have to give him moments where he feels your presence deeply, but also moments where he misses your absence. One of the most powerful things you can do to keep him hooked is to stop overgiving and start allowing him to invest in you. When he puts in effort, when he texts you first, plans a date, or tries to make you smile, it actually strengthens his attachment to you. That's because human psychology is wired to value what we work for. If you're doing all the emotional heavy lifting, he doesn't have to invest. And when someone doesn't invest, they don't bond. Here's what to do instead. Give him little moments of emotional reward and then pull back slightly. Tease him, make him laugh, connect deeply. But don't be afraid to leave him wanting more. When you combine moments of closeness with brief, natural space, his brain keeps craving that emotional high he gets when he's with you. And yes, space doesn't mean ignoring him or playing games. It means living your life fully. Spend time with friends, focus on your passions, and nurture your confidence. When he sees that you're happy and fulfilled with or without him, it creates a powerful sense of magnetic energy. You become someone he chooses to be with, not someone he feels obligated to. Here's another subtle but powerful shift. Instead of chasing validation, start leading with curiosity. Ask him about his goals, his dreams, his challenges, and then listen without judgment. Remember the 3 magic words, I get you. Pairing those words with genuine curiosity deepens his emotional connection to you, making him feel like you're the one person who truly sees him. And here's the twist. The less you try to control where things are going, the more naturally he leans in. When a man feels like he's choosing you, not because you're chasing, but because he wants you, that's when the obsession begins. Because here's the truth. You don't keep a man by constantly reminding him of your value. You keep him by making him feel your value. And that value comes from confidence, mystery, and emotional alignment. In just a moment, I'm going to share a simple texting technique that takes this even further. A way to plant subtle thoughts in his mind, so he keeps thinking about you all day, without you sending paragraph-long messages or trying to force a reaction. Trust me, once you learn this, he'll start chasing you in ways you've never experienced before. Texting can be one of the most powerful tools when it comes to keeping a man thinking about you, but only if you know how to use it right. Most women make the mistake of over-texting or writing long paragraphs, thinking more words mean more connection. But the truth is, the more effort you put into chasing him digitally, the less his brain associates you with mystery, desire, and excitement. Here's the secret. Your text should spark emotions, not just share information. Men don't become obsessed because you send constant updates about your day. They become obsessed when your words make them feel something. If your texts are predictable, logical, and routine, his mind won't linger on them. But if you trigger curiosity, anticipation, and playfulness, you plant thoughts he can't shake off. One of the most effective techniques is what I call the open loop. Instead of giving him all the details, you leave a little mystery. For example, instead of texting, I had a great day today, you could say, I just found out something about you, but I'm not sure if I should tell you yet. Do you see what happens here? You've created a mental gap in his mind. Now he's curious, and his brain wants closure. He'll keep thinking about your message, wondering what you discovered, and that curiosity pulls his focus back to you again and again. Another powerful method is the emotional trigger text. These are short, simple texts designed to connect directly to his feelings. For example, you know what I love about you. This works because it sets off a burst of dopamine before he even knows your answer. He'll instantly want to know what you're thinking. And while he's waiting, he's picturing you, replaying moments with you, and getting emotionally engaged without realizing it. Then, when you reply later with something personal like, I love how you never give up when things get hard, you've just created a moment of emotional recognition, and his brain locks it in. That single line will replay in his head over and over. But here's the key. Never overuse these techniques. Texting isn't about constant communication. It's about creating emotional spikes. Send fewer texts, but make them meaningful and impactful. When your words leave him curious, smiling, or emotionally touched, you occupy his mental space naturally. And don't underestimate the power of visual cues. Sending a spontaneous photo, maybe your smile, your coffee, or a random little moment from your day, creates a stronger bond than 20 back and forth messages. Why? Because visuals trigger deeper emotional memory. He'll see your photo, and hours later, find himself still thinking about that moment and about you. Remember, attraction thrives in lightness and fun. Avoid turning texting into a checklist or interrogation. Don't send rapid-fire questions like, "What are you doing? Where are you? Who are you with?" That kind of energy makes him feel pressured and pushes him away. Instead, send playful, unexpected, and emotionally charged messages that leave room for him to chase you. In just a moment, I'll share the 3 biggest texting mistakes women make that actually make men lose interest faster, and how to avoid them so you can keep him hooked, attentive, and thinking about you long after the conversation ends. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Before we get into the final strategy that locks his attention on you, we need to talk about the 3 biggest mistakes most women make. The ones that silently make a man pull away even when he's interested. If you don't avoid these, the 3 magic words and all the texting tricks won't work the way you want them to. The first mistake is over-pursuing. When you feel him slipping away, your natural instinct is to close the gap, to text more, call more, explain more, and try harder to pull him back in. But here's the truth. The harder you push, the faster he retreats. Why? Because when you're the one doing all the chasing, he never has to question how he feels about you. His brain isn't given the space to miss you or wonder about you. And without that curiosity, desire fades. Instead, give him space to invest. Let him take the lead sometimes. When you stop over-pursuing, you shift the energy back in your favor. Suddenly his mind starts asking questions. Why isn't she texting me like she used to? What's she doing right now? Who's she with? And just like that, you've planted the seeds of intrigue. And intrigue leads to obsession. The second mistake is oversharing your emotions. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't express your feelings. Connection is built on openness, but dumping every thought, fear, or insecurity on him can feel overwhelming. Men are problem solvers by nature, and when you constantly flood him with emotional updates, his brain gets overstimulated. He starts to associate communication with pressure instead of pleasure. Here's a better approach. Reveal your emotions gradually. Give him pieces of your inner world in moments that feel intimate and natural. When you share selectively, it keeps the emotional bond exciting and makes him crave knowing more about you. It's the difference between reading a mystery novel 1 chapter at a time versus flipping to the last page right away. Suspense keeps him hooked. The third mistake is trying to control the outcome. So many women fall into this trap without realizing it. You want things to move forward, so you analyze every word he says, you check his online status, you replay your last conversation in your head over and over. But here's the problem. The more you try to force certainty, the more tension you create, and tension kills attraction. The truth is, men are drawn to women who feel comfortable in uncertainty, women who can flow with the moment without needing constant reassurance. When he senses that you're grounded, confident, and not desperate for answers, he naturally feels more pulled toward you. Why? Because you represent freedom instead of pressure. You become the safe place where he can relax, be himself, and connect without feeling trapped. When you avoid these 3 mistakes, over-pursuing, oversharing, and over-controlling, something incredible happens. The dynamic shifts. Instead of you trying to hold his attention, he starts working to hold yours. And that's where the power lies. In the next part, I'm going to share a bonus strategy that ties everything together. A simple yet powerful method to lock in long-term attraction and make sure he keeps thinking about you even when you're not around. Trust me, this is the missing piece you've been waiting for. Now that you know the 3 magic words, the texting techniques, and the mistakes to avoid, it's time to give you something special. A bonus strategy that turns short-term attraction into long-term emotional obsession. Because here's the truth. Making him notice you is easy. Making him stay emotionally invested in you, that's where most people struggle. The secret is something I like to call emotional anchoring. It's the process of creating powerful emotional moments that his mind links directly to you. When done right, you don't just make him think about you occasionally. You make him feel you even when you're not there. Here's how it works. The human brain remembers feelings far more strongly than facts. People forget words, but they never forget how someone made them feel. So instead of focusing on constant effort, focus on creating high-impact moments that stand out. That could be the way you make him laugh so hard his stomach hurts. The quiet moment where you really listen and say, "I get you." Or the spontaneous adventure where you both do something unexpected and fun. Every time you create one of these moments, his brain releases dopamine and oxytocin. the chemicals of attachment and bonding. Over time, his subconscious begins to associate you with those powerful emotional highs. Even when you're apart, he'll replay those memories in his mind, and those feelings will pull him back toward you again and again. But here's the most important part. You can't force these moments. If you try too hard, it feels unnatural, and the emotional impact disappears. Instead, you create them by being fully present. Listen when he talks. Notice the little things that matter to him. Be playful when the moment calls for it, and vulnerable when it feels right. That balance between lightness and depth creates a sense of uniqueness he can't find anywhere else. The second key to long-term attraction is emotional independence. You need to show him, not tell him, that your happiness isn't dependent on him. When he sees you thriving in your own life, following your passions and enjoying yourself without needing constant validation, he naturally feels drawn to you. Why? Because humans are attracted to confidence and energy. The more secure and fulfilled you are within yourself, the more he wants to be part of your world. And here's the beautiful twist. When you combine emotional anchoring with emotional independence, you create a magnetic pull he can't resist. He feels safe with you, excited by you, and proud to have you in his life. And that's when long-term attraction becomes effortless. So remember, it's not about chasing, over-explaining, or proving your worth. It's about creating moments that stay in his mind, living your life with confidence, and letting him experience the best version of you. When you do this, he won't just think about you non-stop. He'll choose you again and again without you ever needing to ask. And if you want to go even deeper, I've put together something special for you. A private guide with exclusive tips and advanced techniques on emotional triggers, texting strategies, and attraction psychology that I couldn't share in this video. The link is in the description below, so make sure to check it out. This is your moment to stop chasing and start attracting. Trust the process, trust your value, and watch what happens when you start using what you've learned today. Because once you understand how to connect with his emotions on this level, he'll never be able to stop thinking about you. You've made it all the way here. And that tells me one thing. You're ready to transform your love life. By now, you understand the 3 magic words. How to use texting to keep him hooked, the mistakes to avoid, and the powerful strategy to create long-term emotional attraction. But here's what I want you to remember most. You are the prize. You don't have to beg, chase, or convince anyone to choose you. When you understand how to connect with someone on a deep emotional level, the right person will naturally gravitate toward you. You're not forcing attraction. You're creating it by showing up as your most confident, vibrant, and magnetic self. And here's the thing. These techniques are not about tricking someone or playing games. They're about understanding how human emotions work and how to communicate in a way that builds real connection. When you combine emotional intelligence with self-worth, you don't just make someone think about you non-stop. You become unforgettable. Now, I want you to do something for yourself. Take action today. Don't just watch this video and move on with life as usual. Pick one technique from what you learned today. Maybe the 3 magic words. Maybe the open loop texting method. Maybe the emotional anchoring strategy, and start practicing it. The more you apply what you've learned, the faster you'll see results. And if you want to go even deeper, I've put together something special for you. There's a link in the description to a free guide packed with advanced tips I couldn't cover in this video, including the exact texting scripts, emotional triggers, and conversation techniques that make a man crave your attention. Make sure you grab it before it's gone, because it's designed to give you an unfair advantage when it comes to love and attraction. Also, if you found value in today's video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. That way, you won't miss any of my upcoming videos, where we'll dive even deeper into attraction psychology, relationship dynamics, and powerful communication strategies. Finally, I want you to remember this. The power to make someone think about you non-stop isn't in the words alone. It's in the energy behind them. It's about showing up as someone who knows her value, embraces her confidence, and inspires deep emotional connection. When you become that person, you don't have to chase love. Love starts chasing you. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Now it's your turn to take what you've learned and start creating the kind of connection you truly deserve. I believe in you, and I can't wait to hear your success stories.